Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Excited for you to be joining me today to talk about how to get high ticket treatment plans, right? To convert more than just the ones and dones or let me try it once, right? But to sell the high ticket treatment plan, to sell more memberships is what we are after, right? And I know you do want this, right? But just wanting to sell high ticket treatment plans is not going to get you there, right? Just telling your team to just sell more high ticket treatment plans, just sell more memberships is not enough. So today I want you to think about the power of three, methodology. Have you heard about this really simple strategy and technique, but so powerful? And I'm going to share with you what that is and how to actually implement it into your consultations and ultimately your recommendations to your patients to actually get those commitments to start the membership, commitments to actually complete the entire treatment plan protocol that you are recommending, right? And really see your revenue soar. Okay, so, variety, it may be the spice of life for some, right? But having too many choices really can turn people away. And that's why we really like to look at your whole menu and service mix, because you don't want to have too many choices, right? It's like that paradox between choice and over choice overload, right? Because our brains can perceive really three things presented to us. They can do that really, really well. And the rest, it gets chucked aside, right? So give me one, and I'm like, stop telling me what to do. You're bossing me around, right? Give me two choices, and I'm like torn. Oh, this one, that one, I don't know. Give me four, and I'm just overwhelmed and I'm confused. Now, give me three choices. Now we're talking. Now I'm ready to pick one really easily. And that is part of just the beginning of what the power of three is, because there is evidence of the power of three at work in really almost every aspect of our lives. Like, just think about it, right? There's three Olympic medals. There's three types of gasoline at the pump. There are three varying of suffixes, right? First, second, and third. You look at fourth and fifth and so on, and it's all the same endings. So the three is the number our brains can really process things well, quickly, and with good memory, right? Everything after three is just quickly forgotten about. And that overload prevents us sometimes from being able to make that decision. So think about it, right? When we write things out, talk about things, look at things, we instinctively we seek out to have three options. It's pleasant, it feels good, right? We don't feel forced to choose between just two things. It doesn't feel overwhelming because there's too many choices. It really just feels good at the end of the day. And what a funny analogy is, like, what if the secret to you selling more comprehensive treatment plans, more high ticket treatment plans, more memberships, what if the secret to be able to do that and get people to actually commit to those packages and that membership is hidden in a children's story, also known as the Goldilocks effect. And this is a term that is used and talked about in business, but this Goldilocks effect can encourage your patients to make decisions. And it's a really easy one to remember because everyone knows the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And in essence, it's where people are most attracted to options that represent a moderate, middle of the road choice, right? It's not too extreme, but it's just right. Yep, I want you to use the Goldilocks effect when you are making a recommendation in your treatment plans. You want to use this strategy to guide patients' decisions by presenting three options. And not just any three options, but you want to make the middle choice appear the most attractive and reasonable. So that's the key. It's not just choosing any three options out there, but that middle choice appear to be the most attractive and the most reasonable. Because, imagine if you have, let's say, a new device or a package or a membership that you want to sell, and you are leveraging the Goldilocks effect. You won't present just one options, right, to the treatment plan. You should be presenting three choices instead, from a very high end to a basic option. And that middle option is what you want them to commit to, right? Like if it was just so easy that you make a recommendation and they automatically listen to you, then yeah, you would have to present that one thing that you want them to do. However, that generally isn't reality, right? And so if you apply this Goldilocks effect, you are going to present a really high end option, a middle of the road, and then a basic, right, option, right? And no one wants to be a basic bitch, okay? And no one wants to like spend crazy, not no one, but most, right, aren't going to go for that top tier. And so that middle one is neither too pricey nor is it basic, right? It's just right, as Goldilocks would say. And you position it as the best value compared to its counterparts, and ultimately delivering them the result that they want, right? That they're trying to get after with the best value as well. And you want to offer treatment plans or memberships at those three different price points. And most often than not, like statistically, probably 70 to 80% of the time, they're going to choose that middle priced item every single time, right? So if you think about that, that's where you want to really, really try to create options that just automatically guide people there. And then to be able to explain to them the value, the story, what problem it's going to solve, what desire it's going to achieve, and boom, you got them. You got them every time, right? Because even though, even though they might be like, oh, it's not quite in my budget, or like, ooh, I really want the big, pricey, high-end one, right? People are still, at the end of the day, going to choose that middle of the road option, right? So think about it. Where is it that you want them to land? So this is not one of those things where you're like, okay, so we just look at a packet, like an RF microneedling, right? This is not, oh, here's the top option of buy a package of 3, or you could do 2, or you could just start with 1, right? It's like, no, because ultimately we want them to, not only buy the package of 3, but do the post and pre-treatment skincare with it, right? To me, that would be the middle of the road, right? And for most, that would be their top tier at the end of the day, right? And we know that to give them the best results possible, that really would be the minimum recommended protocol to achieve the results that they're after, right? And so I want you to expand your expectations, expand your ability to ask for more from your patients, because it's going to give them a better result, right? They can say no. They can be like, okay, I really do just, want to start with 1, or maybe they just want to start with the package of 3 and they're going to have to stick with their drugstore, skincare regimen for now. Right? Versus, just automatically being like, oh yeah, we can just try out 1 and see how it goes, right? You want to apply this Goldilocks effect, and it's going to help them like psychologically go for that middle of the road, right? But if your middle of the road is still too low, you're not really effectively using this Goldilocks effect at the end of the time. So how to apply this with yourself or your team. So until it becomes second nature for you, then you really need to sit down and make a conscious effort of mapping out what that, good, better, best option is going to look like, what those different ascension models look like. So, if they come in and they, let's just say they have a consultation for RF microneedling, you can be prepared of, of the package of 3, maybe with exosomes and medical grade skincare, right? And a post-treatment facial, right? To slough off some of those skin cells, right? So think about what that could look like. And then if they're like, oh, it's actually just more outside of my price range, and then you could go down to like, well, if RF microneedling is not in your budget, maybe we need to just start with traditional marketing, microneedling, right? So again, you're not getting a no, and you're not under treating them. So be thinking about, train your team, practice, role play, right? Map this out. And this really is the biggest difference between clients that have low revenue per hour and clients that are really above average in what revenue per hours is. Because guys, at the end of the day, people always be like, well, what should I expect return on investment and this and that from my marketing? And I always say it comes back to you of like, well, what is your average revenue per hour? Because I could give one client 10 new RF microneedling clients, and another client 10, and one could make a couple $1,000s off of them because they've gotten some no's that come in for their consults because they got a lot of ones and dones, right? And then another med spa that could take those same 10 patients and make $10,000 or $15,000 off of those patients, right? And a lot of that has to do in their confidence level in recommending and getting a commitment to comprehensive treatment plans. And so today I wanted to give you some strategies and ideas of how you can increase your revenue per hour, how you can increase your membership sales, right? And that is by making recommendations in a good, better, best scenario, and then making your middle option of where you really want them to land, and not under selling or under recommending or under treating, but really their ideal treatment plan, right? And then the high ticket or high price one, right, is like the platinum gold standard that so few would actually do, right? But then the way you have it positioned, it's almost a decoy, right? To get them to actually commit and spend more with you. And that is just how powerful the Goldilocks method is in recommending 3 different treatment plans in a good, better, best scenario. It's absolutely going to increase your revenue per hour. It's absolutely going to increase the number of memberships that you're selling when you position it correctly, right? So first off, you really got to break down of what those 3 options are going to be. And it has to make sense, right? And you have to position of like, this is what everyone does when you're recommending it, right? Because it just makes sense. It gives you the most value. It gives you the best results. This is what almost all of our clients do. And when you position it that way, it just makes sense. That is the only choice that they're going to do, that they want to do, right? And they'll find a way in order to get started when a woman wants something. Regardless if she can afford it or not, or she should or shouldn't do it, she will find a way to be able to do it and make it happen. All right. Hey, Aesthetic Lab. Hey, Mick Elite Aesthetics. Janet, Vita Beauty, thank you for joining me here. So I'd love to open up the floor if there's any questions, but just really encourage you to practice this with your team. Practice with this with yourself. When you know that if you want to sell, insert any device, right, that you want to sell, then you got to sit down and you got to be conscious of like, okay, what does that treatment protocol look like, right? What combination treatment plan do I want to add in that's going to get them the best results possible, right? Because when you get great results for your clients and they feel like you've not only delivered them a great result, but provided them that value, that experience, they're going to keep coming back again and again. All right, guys, I hope that you found this training helpful. I want you to share it with your team, share it with another med spa that you think could benefit. And be sure to join us here live every single week, same time, same place. Catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And be sure to visit my link tree because I have a ton of free trainings and resources. So thanks so much, guys, for joining me here. And we'll